third installment of the Manhood series, and for this video we'll be focusing on the quality of determination. In the first two videos in the series we focused on accountability, we focused on discipline, and now the last concept in the ad mentality, as we mentioned, is determination. So now there are many views as to what determination is, but as always, I'll offer a satisfactory definition. Now, the one I found that was most moving was found in Wikipedia. Now, notice what it mentions here. It says that determination, first of all, is a firmness of purpose or resoluteness. It goes on to say it's a positive emotional feeling that involves persevering toward a difficult goal in spite of obstacles. Determination occurs prior to goal attainment and serves to motivate behavior that will help achieve one's goal. So in thinking about determination, one thing that came to mind as I was preparing for this particular video in the series is a long distance marathon runner. If you ever watch a marathon and you notice the individuals that are involved, they are determined to win. They're determined to win, and with every stride that they're able to muster, they are putting forth effort to reach their goal. So he doesn't allow anything, whether there are obstructions in the road, whether there are individuals on the sideline trying to get his attention, he doesn't allow anything to distract him from reaching that goal or anything to make him fall so that he doesn't win the race. His preparation gives him the confidence that he can succeed and that he can win that race. So now, what does success mean to you? As we mentioned, it could be financial and emotional stability. It could be greater spirituality, or it could be better physical health. But now, whatever goals a person set, as we made known in the accountability video of this series, difficulties will be involved. So why do we say that? Why do we say that whenever an individual sets a goal for himself, that difficulties will be involved? But we have a few reasons for that. The first reason is that goals are usually put in place to preserve a positive line of action or a positive situation, or goals are put in place to change a negative situation into a positive situation. So in either one of those cases, difficulties will arise. So let's illustrate what I mean. Now, when we say preserve a positive situation, we can think about a father who worked hard during his lifetime to build a successful business. He takes that business when he dies and he passes it on to his oldest son. And so the oldest son continues to move in a way that will help that business to thrive because he wants to honor his father. So now, will there be difficulties in him keeping that business afloat? Absolutely. But what is his determination? His determination is to continue with that business in a positive situation so that he can do for his child or his son the same thing that his father did for him. So that's the part of determination that comes with preserving a positive situation. Well, what about the next example? Let's say, for instance, you have a young man who grows up in a very poor town. He's brought into a poor family. They have difficulties just making ends meet. And so that young man decides that he's going to become a successful truck driver. He's going to own a logistics business. And so when he attains that particular goal, then he can come back and help his family to go from a negative position or situation to a positive. And in this case, that particular successful truck driver buys a new home for his mother. So he takes her from a negative situation into a positive. And so, as you can imagine, that situation comes with its difficulties too, because that poor truck driver in the beginning. He may have had difficulty in school. He may have had difficulty with individuals who were around him trying to influence him to do things that were not positive. There could have been any number of situations that he faced that could have prevented him from successfully becoming a truck driver. But we see that he was able to make it through. Determination is part of that. So now another reason why difficulties are involved in setting goals is because difficulties arise when a person tries to defy what is comfortable for them. So what do we mean by that? If you would imagine for a moment the difficulty that would arise in a family of individuals who may be overweight, right? And then you have one particular individual in their family that decides that they're going to take a serious approach to their health. Don't you think difficulties would arise? Because as they look around, even if no one ever says anything discouraging to them, just looking at the rest of the family could be a discouragement, because these other individuals may not see the need to look at their health and try to improve it. So that could be a difficulty for them. Or if we think about it, think too of individuals who are left wealth from their parents. They get an inheritance that's passed down to them, and those individuals squander that inheritance. They live off of it. They never try to add to it. They never try to take what was given to them and then make more of it. They just simply live off it, squander it, and then in the end, they have nothing to pass on to their children. Difficulties can arise. Now, granted, many difficulties that you may face in whatever goal that you decide, there'll be unexpected difficulties. There'll be difficulties that will come as a result of things that are out of your control. And that's where we talked about discipline comes in. Being able to look at a situation and not allow it to make you overly emotional. And so that particular difficulty doesn't get the best of you. And then one of the things that happens often, more times than not, is that difficulties can come from other people who have a negative view of the goal that you set. And that could be because many individuals who we come into contact, they don't think that what your goal is something that you can achieve. But now keep in mind, these are individuals who have never achieved your goal. They don't know the steps that are involved. They hadn't investigated. And yet they have a negative attitude. So difficulties can come from them. And then you might come into contact with individuals who may present difficulties for you because they are prone to finding the negative in any situation. So if you make the goal to own the business, they can tell you the statistics of all of the businesses that have failed in the last year. They can tell you that individuals won't support your business because they're quarantining for the pandemic. They can always list all of the negative reasons why you shouldn't do what you have set as your goal. They can't come up with one positive reason to give you. So that's a difficulty also. So now when you think about it, because there is a level of uncertainty that's involved with how you approach your goal, then it's necessary at this point for us to realize that goals cannot be accomplished without a sufficient level of determination. So what do we mean by that? The higher the aspiration, the greater the goal, then that means that the difficulty will be just as great. So now, think about that for a moment. Individuals who take upon themselves to become doctors and lawyers, and individuals that have to take a lot of schooling to become individuals that are well known and successful in their field. It takes a lot of determination, because there are going to be a lot of situations that are going to be difficult. I can tell you from personal experience, as engineers, we had to take all 4 calculus classes. And then in junior year, you take 2 engineering mathematics classes that Go back over the 4 calculus classes that you took, and they only apply engineering principles to those segments of math. The most difficult classes I have ever taken in my whole entire life, but yet I sit here and engineer. Because, as I mentioned, the harder things become, the more determined you must be to meet your goal. In this particular area, you can't allow anything to prevent you from reaching your goal. It's that important to you. So now, if you think about it, you're able to muster that determination because when you were looking at accountability, right? When you were looking at accountability, you took the responsibility of taking this goal upon yourself. And then you came up with a logical and a reliable way to reach that goal. So along the path, if things become difficult because you've taken the responsibility upon yourself and you know what your path is, it's a logical path. The path you plotted will allow you to safely reach your destination. Determination is needed so that nothing prevents you, nothing hinders you, nothing stops you from making it to the place that you have deemed as your goal. That's important. So now we talked about a few things. We talked about the difficulties that might arise. We talked about what determination really is. But now, what happens when these obstacles do arise? How can determination help you with those problems that come up unexpectedly? Well, as we learned from the definition from Wikipedia, determination is actually motivation. It's something that pushes you on. Now, why do we say that? Because first of all, if a person is determined to meet their goal, their thinking is geared toward meeting their goal, which means that they are employing analytical thinking as well as objective thinking. So what that means is they're taking all the emotion out of the situation, how they feel, and then they're analyzing the situation, the difficulty that has arisen, so that they can navigate and still be on course to meet their goal. So now, a person who does that kind of thinking, they are not allowing the things on the outside, even the urges within, to keep them from meeting their goal. And by maintaining that determination, they're able to remain focused on the goal that they have set. And then another thing that determination causes, it causes a person to analyze not only the present circumstances, but things that they have done in the past. So maybe there's something that I did in the past that if I continue to do, it will prevent me from meeting my goal. I'll give you an example. Maybe you're attending classes, whether you're in high school or in college. If there is a class, let's say for instance, it's a math class, and you didn't do too well in your math class. Let's say it's geometry. You didn't do too well in the past. Going forward, you need to find out where the difficulty lies in geometry. You need to take the proper steps to educate yourself or get a tutor to help you so that moving forward, geometry is not an impediment for you to reach your goal. And so that's easy for us to understand, isn't it? And then too, determination in a lot of cases will cause a person to go and seek out individuals who can mentor them. I'm inexperienced in a certain area, but this area is pertinent to me reaching my goal. I'll give you an example. As a young engineer, I started working for a software company. And one of the things that the software company really was known for was rack-mounted computers. Now, up until this point, I had repaired several computers. There were several things that I knew. I knew the components of a computer, but I had never put one together. And so there was a older, more serious, seasoned engineer that was there. And what he did was he took me under his wing and he walked me through, step by step, how to build those rack mount computers. And I still build, refurbish, and repair computers to this day. So a mentor in certain instances is very beneficial, because if there's a situation where you're not aware of what can be done or what should be done, a mentor can help to guide you. But that's all because you are determined to reach your goal. So if you need to use the resources that are at hand for you to reach your goal, then do that. And then also, the determination that you take upon yourself, it prevents you from giving up on your goal. Now, if your goal is reasonable, then it should be something that you can attain. But now let me qualify that. A reasonable goal to you may not be reasonable to others. The estimation of what you can do may be different to other individuals. So if you set a goal, as we mentioned earlier, the determination that you have because that goal is reasonable to you, your determination will not allow you to give up because it's something that you can do. It's something that you can succeed in. And then also what determination will allow you to do, to sum up all of the things that determination does, finally, it helps an individual to adapt to difficult circumstances. Things hit you, but they don't stop you. You adapt. You become whatever you need to be in order to meet the situation head on, conquer it, and keep going. That's all about determination. That's what it does. That's what it produces in individuals who decide to take it on. So now in summary, we can say that determination is a couple of things. It's a positive endurance that helps one achieve a goal despite difficulty. So now while you're going through all these difficulties, you're not allowing those difficulties to sap your self-esteem. You're not allowing those difficulties to make you become negative towards your goal. You maintain a positive attitude, you push forward. And then we learned that goals are usually set to preserve a positive situation or to take a negative situation and turn it into a good situation. So in that particular instance, determination is needed to do either one of the two. And then we see that goals cannot be accomplished without the proper level of determination. So the higher and loftier the goal, the more determination it's going to take for an individual to reach that goal. So when obstacles arrive, determination is motivation to endure, to keep moving forward. So with this being the last video in the series, we're thankful that you all stayed with us. Once again, that manhood series consisted of the ADD mentality: accountability, discipline, determination. And if you notice, those three notions, those three principles, we focus on these because these are universal. So anything that you're involved in, whatever you set as a goal, whatever personal intentions you have, if you apply those three characteristics, accountability, discipline, determination, those three will help you to get where you're trying to go. We thank you so much for your support. Be easy.